Welcome to another episode of the Path of Champions. This time we will be taking on Kennen's Path of Champions against Viktor. You see that the first thing I got was the starting power to draw 2 in the first part. The reason why is because we want to get that mana recycling with Kennen as soon as possible. So you see me mulligan for all the parts that are not necessary with Kennen. Trying to see how fast I can get him. One thing that you want to take a look at with Viktor is you see that they're able to get a bunch of different things, and honestly I was not able to beat Viktor until I was able to get a second ability with Kennen. So honestly I feel like that's the only way to win Viktor. You will also see that I have a pretty hard time with Teemo as well, and so what I would suggest is try to get that second ability of Kennen's, which you can attach to any champion, which is when they are summoned, deal 1 to all enemy units. That will help, especially because you're mana recycling. That means you're constantly dealing 1 damage. If you really want to keep recycling Kennen, you can essentially do, depending on how many mana gems you have, you will be able to, get 2, 3, 4 piece of damage. As you can see here, that's 1, right? And then we can use the return. And the other thing is, like I said before, you're going to constantly keep recycling your cannons, and that will help you make sure that you keep a pretty clear board. You're going to see what I mean by that. I'm going to summon the cannon again, which deals 1 to that. I'm going to get rid of the spell shield against this Plaza Guardian deck, and be able to attack. I could have even attacked with that 5 just to put in an extra 2 piece of damage, but for now I think it's totally okay. You can see that they're using the counterfeit copies to try and get my people to lose as much as possible, but because they're going to be using that mystic shot, I'm going to use it to recall the cannon and avoid that attack, and continuously chip down on this this unit. I completely forget his name, but it's like, for some reason the AI likes to use this unit a lot. I decide to continuously hit this guy. So if in case he wants to summon something, the cannon will continuously weaken him. Use the mark of the mark of the storm to make sure that I have enough to make sure that he might get stunned right now. I use it perfectly. I knew he was going to try to block the weak unit, and that would be game since he did not look at the other ones, but it's AI, they were bound to lose anyway. I'm looking around to see what would help my deck, and honestly I don't want a lot of units that are not going to be that good, so I decide to get an extra cannon. And I started thinking, okay, should I use flash bombs, but I decide to use the Swain because the Swain is a very good accompanying champion in the Path of Champions. You're essentially, when I summon Kennen, I'll be dealing 1 to all units, so if they have maybe 2 or 3 units on the board, I will immediately get 5 points of damage. If I recycle Kennen twice, that's 2 bits of damage, and so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. The Mark of the Storm also gives you 2 damage, which only helps out, and you'll see here why I decided to use this. I can even bounce back with the Navora Conspirator since it's going to be a 2/5 anyway. I can just use it to deal elusive damage. Now I have 3 mana. You'll see that I use that specifically to make sure that I can block this. With Kennen, since everything's a 2/5, I'm able to consistently deal damage. I should have honestly recalled the other person and done 2 damage to this. The reason why is they have tough, so a lot of my summoning dealing 1 damage is not doing a lot. So I'm just making sure that I'm continuously hitting them. They summon an elusive because with Viktor, when they summon a unit, they get a random keyword. It's going to be a little bit tough to be able to always attack with my elusive unit. So you can see that I'm always dealing 1 damage. I'm going to stun the tough, and I'm going to recycle 1 more time. I'm going to try to get rid of their units as much as possible, and you can see here before even mana 5, I am now I am now have a leveled up Swain. So if they don't have anything, then next time I will be able to attack them. I chose this path specifically because all their units are a 2/5, which means with Swain, I'll be able to attack freely since he has Fearsome, and so they won't have anything to deal with this, right? You're gonna see that they're gonna try to attack, and I'm thinking maybe I should just let it go so my units can be specifically healthy. I don't know what they have in their hand. They might have something that will damage my units, and I don't want to lose Kennen or Swain for that reason. I go for the Nexus damage because I know Swain will be able to stun one of the units. And right here, I'm just making sure that I'm consistently recycling mana. Check that out. Now I killed a few of the units. I've now killed 2 of them. And just by summoning these things, I can go for a really good attack. I just wanted to see who they would block with, so that way I can use the flock to kill the other unit, so that way when I go for a straight attack, I'm able to I'm able to have less units on their side. I'm making sure that I'm summoning as much as possible because I'm going to go for game this time. What I'm going to do is make sure that I use that scout with lifesteal to make sure that I have the best amount of damage, dealing Nexus damage so that way they can become stunned, and making sure that they are consistently taking that damage, and then attack with the lifesteal unit first to give me a little extra health before I continue to go on to the Path of Champions. So this was kind of like a good impromptu way to get that to get that good you know, attack in and getting some health back. Now from here, I'm thinking maybe I should go extra aggressive by getting a rally, but I decided to get the Navori's Blade Scout with summoning a ephemeral unit of himself, because let's say that I'm gonna attack on turn 2, I summon him on the elusive to block, they don't want to block, and then my innate ability has him get summoned. Maybe you might see it here, and then because of his actual ability, he'll summon another one. So I will be essentially summoning two Blade Scouts for free. You saw that I actually waited on the Kennen because I knew that if they had something, I would be able to summon him and be able to what's it called, and deal that 1 damage to the unit and kill it. You'll also see here that I'm gonna start mana recycling again with Kennen, even though they're gonna be using the Waking Sands. I want to make sure that I kill the Waking Sands first. I was just seeing what keyword they would get, and because they got Fury, I'm like, okay, let me just kill it now. If it had something like Tough, then maybe I would have killed the other unit, right? So I just wanted to make sure which units, what keyword they would get. I even have the Imperial Demolitionist because I can deal 1 to maybe the Navori, even the Kennen, and then bounce them back to recover their health. Because I don't have a way to recall my units, I decided to, you know, just deal it to the Navori since I have a second one. And you can see there that is an instant level up because of the Blade Scout. I have 2 elusive Blade Scouts that deal just a bunch of damage there. They're stealing my mana gems, and so I couldn't summon the Swain, but I think that's okay for now. I'm going to continuously use this Kennen mana recycling. Not only that, but he deals 1 extra damage, so it only helps out. I can see here that they're going to try to level up their landmark, or not level up, but count down their landmark pretty quickly again, and so I'm trying to make sure that I, 1, kill their units as fast as possible, but also make sure that I'm weakening them so I can be able to block. I believe I use my flock. No, okay, I use a unit to block instead. I think it's totally fine, especially since I'm going to have a lot of things on the board that are going to need some space. You can see that I even left out that. I could have instead not even used my Mark of the Storm. I think I'm going to let it go through because it's going to be game anyway. Always check to make sure that it's game, so that way you're not trying to plan for other things. Sometimes I forget, and so that happens to me, but for the most part, just make sure. I'm going to get the Lightning Rush, which helps me draw a unit, and that's draw a champion, because it's going to be very helpful, especially if I can't find a Swain, or maybe I just want another Kennen on the field to continuously mana recycle. That's the reason why I chose that. I'm going to mulligan around. The Rune Weaver is very good against Azir, because for a 2-drop it'll be able to pull the Azir. It does 3 damage and it has 1 health anyway, so the best thing it can do is use itself, kind of like what I'm using right here. I'm using that focus spell because I want to make sure that I get as much mana as possible, and plus I'm going to be attacking with it anyway, so there's no point in me, you know, just keeping it. I'm going to use the Mark of the Storm to make sure that I don't overload my hand and get another Mark of the Storm here. They summon an elusive Sand Soldier, which is okay. I will get now the Overwhelm on... Oh, not yet. I will continuously mana recycle, and you can see here that I'm drawing a bunch of cannons now, making sure that I clear the board, and I'm going to go for the attack. I did a pretty good amount of damage, but the most important thing against Azir is that I'm constantly making sure that their board is as free as possible. As you can see here, they can immediately summon the Sand Soldiers, which is what I don't want, and so I will be using my Recall ability to block those attacks. You can see that my Swain is finally on my hand, which is great. The Lightning Rushes are getting a little aggressive, so I'm going to make sure to weaken their unit as much as possible. They're at 1 health, and you can see with just 4 mana, I'm able to use like 20, and I'm able to kill this. I will get another Rune Weaver, which will give me the final piece to create a sword. But I'm going to be summoning the Swain first, making sure that if there's anything that they summon, I can stun it by dealing damage to the Nexus. I can even just go for the attack right now, but I believe I decide to scout for that. I used the retreat. I should have used the retreat on the Rune Weaver, since it's going to be ephemeral anyway, but you can see here that I'm consistently mana recycling. They have regeneration, and so it's going to be a bit tough to beat them with. And now, because they are a +3, they will be blocking my Swain, and so I decide to just use the Flock to get rid of him. Again, a bunch of control. I'm seeing what I can use, but none of the broken shards are that good at the moment. But the good thing is that their field is completely wrecked. I'm just going to be dealing damage to stun the Azir, so that way they won't be able to declare an attack, and they won't be able to have a Sand Soldier on attacking me, possibly getting lifesteal, or maybe, you know, getting a scout, and so now they're able to attack again. Just making sure that I build a big enough board to go for lethal this turn before they summon anything. Even if they did summon their speed spell for I would keep on going with their, even if they had their speed spell, I would be able to use that. I use the Draven here. I think the Draven is a very, very good drawing thing, especially because you can see that I'm using a lot of Lightning Rushes. I need some way to discard. So Draven's Axes will not only work as a speed, as a burst speed to be able to get rid of the unnecessary cards on my hand, but they can also be used to power up Draven and then eventually get the Overwhelm. So that's exactly what I was thinking of right here. I'm trying to make sure that I get rid of their spell shield in case they want to attack with him, or if I need to flock them by emergency. That's why I use it. Honestly, at this point right here, what I should have done is attack their clump of wumps. I don't want a lot of things on the field, exactly. And so I want to make sure that they are being tossed. The reason why I didn't want to use that right away is because they would have... I'm drawing too much in my hand, and I know that's a problem because they have their landmark that makes me draw 2 anyway. And so you can see there that I'm losing out on lightning rushes or just anything else in general. I believe I should just drop the Draven, especially because it has spell shield. It's a very, very good way to, and you can even see here, this is a very good way for me to get some lightning rushes on the to get lightning rushes on my hand, or to get rid of things on my hand with these axes. So these axes are very good. You can even see here that I'm not even using it to attack, I'm just using it to discard cards in my hand to be able to not get rid of anything or obliterate anything in my hand. I'm gonna make sure that I recall to make sure that that dude dies. There's no real good blocker for that guy, at least in my current field, so I want to make sure I get rid of it as soon as possible. Do I recall? I believe I still recall. I don't know if that was the right choice, but that is something that I do there. I'm trying to think why. Yes, one of the biggest things that helped me improve the speed of this deck was getting that rally. I just noticed right now, because there's just a lot of things going on, and I'm trying to show you how Draven is a very good discard mechanic for this deck that relies a lot on drawing and getting the right things. Getting that rally, it picks up the pace a lot. You can even see that the reason why I attack with Swain is because it posed game for them. Like, if they didn't block him, they were going to lose, so they had to force themselves to block. And because I have just so much value, you're gonna see here when I summon my Kennen, it destroys 2 of their units. Because I have so much value in my hand, it's okay, I'll just recoup right now, recoup my losses. You're gonna see that this rally is what really, took this deck to overdrive. If it weren't for that rally, this would take, twice as many turns, and I would start having a problem with my hand again. I'm making sure that they aren't attacking with their lifesteal. The reason why I don't want them to attack with their lifesteal is so that way I can try to finish the game as soon as possible, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to use the lightning rush to recall my Draven instead, so that way I can come back with the spell shield and with full health, and finish off the game there. You never know, with that extra mana they could have that deal 1 or a mystic shot or something that would then, I would have to wait another turn for me to attack. I always go through this quick route because it gives me an extra power, which helps me, like for this example, stun the strongest enemy, which will help slow down their team. But I usually go this route because if I were to go the other route, even though they have good items, I never see them being worthwhile to be a Viktor. So what I like to do against Viktor is have the most condensed deck as possible to avoid having any crazy dead hands. Even right here, you can see that I drew pretty badly, and I try to go through the fastest route possible. I wasn't scared of them having a ballistic bot, because I knew that they would get stunned in the round start, and they use their 3 cost to be able to get rid of my unit, so now I can't summon him on this turn. But I think that's okay because they're using all their spell and all their mana to make sure that they can't so I know that they can't build their board. So if they're trying to get rid of my board, they can't build their board. I'm trying to make sure that I discard things as much as possible, just so I can get other things. The one thing that's kind of weird is you see how I'm like underlining this as round start. If you have the attack token, then you should get an ephemeral copy of your weakest ally. But I do have the round token. I think because that checks the ability before the round starts, I don't get that ephemeral copy, which I should. I feel like that's a good thing. And finally, I was using the lightning rush to make sure that I hopefully either draw another Draven or a Kennen. I was able to draw the Kennen, and I believe the reason why I destroyed the ballistic bot is because he has too much health that I don't know how I'll be able to beat him. And with the Viktor, I can quick attack kill him if they really needed it. So you're gonna see right now I draw back the Kennen. It was honestly a toss-up between summoning whichever one, but it's okay. If I were to draw Draven, then I get 2 axes, attach them to Draven. He's now a 5 quick attack, and he'll be able to level up. I'm thinking if I should summon Swain or if I should first mana recycle. Honestly, the cool thing that I could have done is summon the Swain and then continuously use my mana recycling to deal damage to the Nexus and stun their unit, or just get rid of their spell shield. But I realized that as long as I could keep doing this mana recycling hack, I can get rid of their spell shield and even deal damage to it. I want to deal damage to this as soon as possible because I want to be able to attack with my units, and now that I brought it down to 3 health, I will be losing the Mark of the Storm to power up Draven. Draven being a +4 helps me out by posing a faster game here. I'm going to keep my hand, I believe, because I think it's a pretty decent hand. Their unit gets stunned. They summon their Plaza, which is a quick attack Fury. Oh my gosh, I hate that so much. So if I summon the Swain, because I can always recall my Kennen with the Lightning Rush, what I wanted to do is if they had maybe like a 1 mana fast unit, I could have attacked the Nexus and stunned this guy as well so they wouldn't attack. But it's the same thing. I'm just going to keep mana recycling. And now that my Kennen is fully leveled up, I can go for an axe or a lightning rush to be able to stun this guy. And then I believe what I decide to use is the spinning axe by getting rid of my Mark of the Storm to finally level up my Draven. And check this out. He attacks, levels up. And then with the Swain, I'm able to kill their elusive and stun their other unit again. Now it's at 2. And because I know that I'm not going to be summoning my Tornado Warrior, now that I have my Kennen, I'm able to just consistently mana recycle. I'm just going to toss him to make sure that I have enough space in my hand for those double axes. I'm going to get rid of the Rune Weaver, I believe. If not the Thunder Fist, to be able to give my Draven a +1. And I use that just so I can pass to then be able to summon this, then mana recycle, and at this point this is game. I'm going to be mana recycling and dealing that stun on their final unit with Swain. Now I'm going to summon Kennen one more time, get rid of their other big unit, and at this point I can just go for game. I believe this is game. Yes, it is. So that is a GG against Viktor. Very easy. The reason why, or the thing that I would definitely suggest is wait until you level up Kennen so they can have 2 slots and be able to use their mana recycling and dealing 1 to their units. I feel like that's the only way to control Viktor's massive amounts of keywords. The other thing is to get opponents that or champions that synergize with them. So anything like a Swain or like even a Draven is really good. If it's possible, and let's say that you have as health, try to cut cards as much as possible. We want that Kennen engine as soon as possible. So that is my guide against Viktor. Thank you so much for the constant support, and make sure to subscribe so I can try to get monetized, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.